if you go to a professional in this modernized world to get help with chronic pain, and I'm talking about deep chronic pain, not just a little nagging thing, it's likely you're not going to hear these three things that we talk about in this video. And that's actually a bummer because what I found is that this is really at the root of a lot that we're dealing with in the body, the discomfort, also in our emotions, in our inner world. So it's all related, it's all connected. So if you're down with that idea, let's go a little further. The first thing that you're not going to hear is talk about tension, chronic tension. What you might hear is talk about tight muscles, where it's the same thing. Tension takes it a level deeper. Tension is a constant contraction and holding in your body. And if you're just trying to change this by stretching or by strengthening, doing physical therapy, corrective exercise in general, you name it, you're not actually getting to the root of the problem there, right? So this tension is pulling the body out of whack. It's pulling the structure all wonky, right? And that leads to this like really crappy feeling in the body. And years and years and years on top of this leads to pain. So if you're working with exercise and stretching, you name it, whatever, the hard truth is that you're not actually getting to the bottom of like why is that tension holding on in the first place. You might stretch it, you might get that tension to like open a little bit, but you're not actually working on getting that tension to let go and release and to stop pulling. Right? And so I've worked with people with chronic pain for a long time. I've been in this world. Not only that, I've gotten to hear their stories. So everyone I work with has a story, and I really get curious about it. And hearing their stories and being in this world, I mean, I'm constantly looking at what's out there and what's new, what can I find. No one in that realm is talking about tension. And not in this way. And that's an important distinction. Not in this way. And it's, like I said at the beginning, it's a really big bummer, and it's actually really it's really tough because what I've found is that this is the root. This is the original problem. And so if we can go in and work with that original problem and get that original problem to release and let go, then that really helps the body come back into alignment. That helps things feel a lot better for us, right? It gets us closer to where we want to go. So I feel that that's a big bummer. Now, the second thing that you're not going to hear, now I want to say that everything we're talking about is related to tension. So tension's like the base. Number 2 is patterns. So why does the tension exist in the first place? Okay, we have all this stuff inside of us that's going like this. It's holding on really tight. It's pulling our structure out of whack. Why in the first place? Why is that happening? Well, patterns. So there's things that happen in our life from a very young age, the time we're born, maybe even before that, that make us feel afraid. We can just put it really simply and just connect it to fear at the root. Afraid. And if we feel afraid, just right now, put yourself in any time in the past week or when you were younger, and you felt like your environment wasn't safe, what do you do? Really go into that. Like, what do you do? If you're just on an intellectual level with me right now, it's really easy. Um, think about what someone does when they're afraid. They're going to do one of a few things. They're going to come in on themselves, or, maybe they might be ready to fight, right? But there's some sort of tension that comes into the system, okay? And for most people, it's actually a closing of sorts. Very few people are actually responding with, oh, I want to fight. There's a closing, right? There's a protection. Protection is the main word. So what happens is this protection from fear, it becomes a pattern. It becomes something that gets repeated over and over and over because it's what makes us feel safe. Why do we do the protection? Why do we do the pattern? Because we're like, okay, that out there is scary and I don't feel comfortable with that. So, but this feels better to me, right? This feels like, for some reason, it's going to keep me safe. Okay. So, the patterns. Here's the thing. You see how they're coming from experiences in our life. So they're connected to emotions, so they're connected to emotions, to our mental space, to everything, to our body, right? Because, okay, scary, I feel afraid, oh, I close. You see how it's all one thing, it's all connected, okay? So this is where tension arises. We have these patterns. Now, the thing with these patterns is that they play out in different ways. Once we have the pattern in our body, it's something that we just kind of repeat and repeat and repeat. So we could experience something super small, like just driving on the road. And because there's inherent, you could say, like, scary circumstances that happen on the road, even just someone braking in front of you and you need to brake. It doesn't need to be something big. We are repeating this pattern all the time. And the pattern in the body makes us feel an emotion. So sometimes we feel the emotion, we repeat the pattern, but sometimes we feel the pattern and we repeat the emotion, right? So this is how things get really deep and connected to these blockages inside are actually like really, really keeping us stuck, really keeping us. It's really keeping it's really like keeping those emotions stuck in our body. It's keeping everything stuck, because if you think about what tension is, it's a constant contraction, but nothing can move through tension. Like, it's like, think about it like like you got your favorite piece of food and you're just like, oh, like I'm gonna hold it here. It's my favorite. It's never gonna leave my hand, right? Kind of like a squirrel. Like, I got my nuts and I'm holding on, and no one else is gonna have it, right? But when you're in that, then nothing can change, nothing can move, right? So these things get stuck, and they get stuck in our body, and it's all one thing. It's not just this physical thing. It's not just this emotional thing. It's everything, right? Okay, now here's the last. Okay, so we have tension and patterns, and then the last thing no one's ever going to tell you Okay, so we have tension, we have patterns, and the last one here is another unfortunate one that, okay, so we have tension, we have patterns, and the third one here, okay, so we have tension, we have patterns, and the third one here is that no one is going to tell you that this is something we have to do ourselves. We have to go deep inside of ourselves. If you really want to solve this problem, not just like mask the problem. And that's what a lot of the solutions out there are doing, especially if you go to like a doctor, is it's masking. It's like, hey, just like stave off those symptoms by taking this or by doing this. We can just like we can numb the symptoms. We can bring the symptoms down. That's not working with the root of the symptoms. That's not going to it and saying, hey, how do we actually like get rid of this? How do we get this out of me? And so we kind of have been like, um, we've bred this culture of this numbing, right? And that's like what we've come to expect. It's what we've come um, to just think that that's how it's going to work. And the truth is that how it's going to work is that we're going to pull ourselves out of this mess by working with ourselves and going inside. Okay. So if you take tension, patterns, you can see that, okay, tension wreaks havoc on my body because it pulls me in all these crazy places, it pulls me out of whack, and it comes from my patterns. So how do I work on this? Well, we have to learn how to release tension. We have to learn how to feel inside our bodies. Most of us have become numb because our culture doesn't value feeling, just for the same reasons that I said before. So we have to become unnumb, to come into feeling again. And, part of this is involved with it is like, we need to feel emotions again. We need to feel the stuff that has been repressed, has been stuff that we've just pushed away for a long time. And so this is a natural part of what we're doing here is like, we're letting that repressed stuff move. And this is scary. This is hard. This is why like a lot of people don't do this. This is why like my YouTube channel will probably never be super massive. It's because I'm pointing straight to that where like this is what it takes. It really takes this deep internal going inside stuff. And I'm well aware that a lot of people just don't want to do that. And that's okay. like I totally get it. But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, here, just do this instead. Like, in my personal experience, going through deep healing myself, that's just not how it's going to work. So that's it. Those are the 3 things. I hope this video has been helpful. And leave a like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you. Have a good day.